In this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the latest improvements in the Plan Designer as of March 14th, 2025. While I'll be highlighting some of the user experience, performance, and fit and finish improvements we've made, I'll mainly focus on how we've improved the experience of working with Power Platform solutions to enable the things you build with the Plan Designer to be ALM or Application Lifecycle Management ready. All right, so here we are on the home page, and I'm going to use one of the stock prompts to start with a plan. One of the first things you'll see here is we have a new document pane that is collapsible. You'll notice some user experience improvements in the document pane. And you'll notice how quickly the user roles and user needs loaded into the document pane. Go ahead and accept this. And same thing. We see how the data and the proposed tables loads in faster into the document pane. And both the user experience improvements you're seeing and the performance improvements you're seeing is something that we've been working on. And I would say stay tuned to this space because there's more to come. All right, so the Plan Designer proposed a data model. We're going to take a look at it right now. In this case, I'll go ahead and accept it. Once the data model is accepted, it's going to propose a set of user experiences, including apps and flows. I'll go ahead and accept that as well. Notice when I click Save, the Plan Designer asks me where I want to save things. The plan, all the proposed artifacts, as well as the tables and experiences the Plan Designer helps generate for you, all go into a Power Platform solution. And in this case, I'm going to create a new solution, but I can use an existing solution. I'm going to use my publisher of choice, and I'll click Save here. One of the things you'll notice is that it's saving the plan. And once the plan is saved and we've created a solution that the plan is associated with, you now see that we have a solution objects view here. And this is a subset of Solution Explorer embedded inside of the Plan Designer. And the first thing you notice is the plan and the plan artifacts, the things that we're proposing you build, are part of the solution. Now, this has great benefit if you want to effectively ship your plan with your actual apps, flows, tables, etc. And one of the benefits of doing so is that an administrator can go look in a target environment, click on the plan, and get effectively a living document of the end-to-end solution that was deployed. Of course, since these are solution objects, you can remove them from the solution. You can move them to another solution if you want. If you don't want to ship the plan with the things that the plan generates. So I'm going to come over here to Solution Explorer and refresh. And you can see we now have our vacation days management solution. I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to set this as my preferred solution. And I'm going to connect this to my Git repo. Now, if I come in here, you can see that I've got a pipeline already wired up. And I can commit all the changes I'm making over time into a Git repo. So I'll go ahead and commit this, and we'll call this Vacation Management init. Because I'm just getting started. And of course, if you haven't seen native Git integration, I can just click on the commit and I can see the source code files of everything I just committed to the Git repo. Not only can I see the source code files, but as I continue to do this, I can see the changes line by line over time. And of course, if I want to, I can come over to Pipelines for Power Platform and I can deploy. And in this case, it's basically an empty solution with my plan inside of it. And now my solution with my plan is being deployed to my test environment. And while this is a little bit of a contrived scenario, you can imagine that maybe this is something you want to do. Right? You want to deploy your initial solution with the overall plan for your admin to review before you start building things out. All right, so let's go back to the plan designer. And now I'm ready to build more of the plan out in an iterative fashion. And everything you just saw, I can repeat over and over again. I can generate things from the plan, commit those changes to source control, deploy those changes, and then repeat over and over again. All right, so I'll go ahead and save my tables. And we can see now that instead of the icon for proposed tables, we have the icon for Dataverse tables. And if I come over here to Solution Explorer, we can see that those tables are ready to be deployed. And of course, if I wanted to, I could go over to Git integration, commit the tables, then deploy through Pipelines for Power Platform and repeat that process. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and generate a Canvas app by clicking the Create button here. And this is going to look at the tables. So if we come back to Plan Designer and we look at the tables that the Canvas app will use, it will look over those two tables and it'll scaffold out a starter application for you. All right, so here's our starter application. I'm gonna go ahead and publish this. We'll close out of here. And notice that in the Plan Designer, we now have an Edit button instead of a Create button. If I come over to Solution Explorer, unsurprisingly, we now have an app that uses these tables. If I come over to the Git view, we can see all the changes that Plan Designer has done on my behalf. Of course, I can track my change history. Of course, I can go look at those changes. And I can even see the source code of my Canvas app, which is now YAML plus Power Effects. And of course, if I wanted to, I could come over here to Pipelines for Power Platform and initiate another deployment. So back on the Plan Designer, I want to do the same thing. I want to create my model-driven app. And in this case, it's going to build it over these three Dataverse tables for the manager role. So when I click Create, we initiate the model-driven app gen process. And now that I have a model-driven app, I can do little fit and finish things like, let's say, for example, I don't want to show these in the navigation. I can come in here and I can change the web resource icon. I won't do that here because I haven't built a web resource yet, but you get the idea. And one of the things you'll notice is that we set up the basic columns in the grid. For the form, we set up the basic form for you. Of course, as a maker, you can go customize this and make it your own. Close this out. And again, you see now that we have an edit button instead of a create button. Come over here. As you would expect, we now have a model-driven app and we have a sitemap for that model-driven app. And of course, if I refresh this, we've got a number of changes and I can commit those changes. So let's look at one more thing. I'm going to edit this model-driven app. And I'm going to make the app more intelligent by creating a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent that serves the model-driven app's sidecar chat. What is that? So if I come over here and play this model-driven app, you'll see that the app has a Copilot sidecar chat. And we can make this sidecar chat more intelligent by creating a custom agent and configure things like knowledge. So this Copilot is more customized to the needs of this model-driven application. So again, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to configure in Copilot Studio. And this is setting up the app's Copilot, or the agent that will serve the Copilot sidecar chat. And when I do that, it opens up Microsoft Copilot Studio, showing me the new agent that was just created for my model-driven app. So I'm going to allow the AI to use its own general knowledge. And I'm going to add a public website. In this case, I'm just going to add the State Department's Travelers website. And if I come to Get Integration, I click Refresh, we'll see that we have an update to a Copilot agent. All right, so in this video, you saw some of the new visual and performance enhancements to the Plan Designer, as well as how we support Power Platform solutions for healthy application lifecycle management, including the ability to see all of the objects in the solution that the Plan Designer generates. And so you can kind of think of the Plan Designer graphical view as a very high-level view of what you're building, and the solutions view as the complete detailed view of all the solution objects underneath your plan. And because we use Power Platform solutions, everything you build with the Plan Designer sets you up for healthy ALM, including using native Git integration, as well as pipelines for Power Platform.